Welcome to Business Notes. I'm your host, Diane Bogino. My guest today is Marci Schnapp. Marci is a vision mover and businesswoman specializing in talent acquisition. Beginning her career in recruiting in 1998, Marci founded New Media Links Recruitment Plus Representation, followed by X Search, Executive Search for eBusiness, and TeamQuest Advisors. Marci has over 20 years of experience in business operations, recruitment, executive search, coaching, and consulting. TeamQuest is the first organization of its kind to use Opusuna data and methodology for talent solutions. Opusuna is a bias-free tech that measures the number one performance indication ability to collaborate. After seeing success in her executive search and consulting practice, Marci recently purchased Opusuna, previously called Teamability, from behavioral scientists Dr. Janice Presser and Dr. Jack Gerber. Here's Marci sharing her expertise for talent acquisition for your organization. Marci, welcome to Business Notes, and thank you for being on the show today.
Well, thank you very much, Diane, for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yes, it's great to meet you. Whatever made you decide to become a business owner?
Good question. I decided some 20 plus years ago that I wanted to really control my own journey. And I didn't necessarily want to leave it up to all the men around me, let's just say. So so I was working for somebody, and I thought, oh, I think I can do it better than what he's doing it, how he's doing it. And I decided to leave and go out on my own.
And what was your mission at the start of your company? What were you trying to do?
My mission was really to recruit in an equitable, fair manner. I had been through the recruiting process many, many times, as a young career person, and I felt that it wasn't really particularly fair to me as a young woman. And so I decided that I was going to make sure that my recruiting processes and my methods and the way I was educating my clients and candidates alike was going to be equitable for everybody. If you'd like, I can give you an example. I don't know.
Yeah, let's have an example.
Early on in my career, I had this wonderful young woman, and she applied for one of the positions, and I helped her rewrite her resume. And one of the skills I think she had on there was typing and a few other things that really weren't really what she was going for. So, I explained to her that, this is really not what you need on your resume. And then the other big thing that happened is we were talking about salary, and I was telling her that, men have to pay the same amount of money at the gas pump as we do, and the same for electricity, and on and on and on. And that really, she should ask for more money for the type of position that she was applying for. And I read quite a few books on negotiation, and that's something that I passed down, especially to my female candidates, about negotiation and really trying to negotiate the best possible salaries for themselves.
Good for you. And that's so true. People kind of put themselves out of the playing when they don't put what they're really going for, make themselves look good for the position they're going after on their resume.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then also when they leave it to the other person sort of to make an offer, and then they just accept that offer.
Right. Yeah, that's something we don't do in America very well, is negotiate, unfortunately. So what makes Opusuna bias-free, and how is it different or alike personality assessments?
I'm really glad you asked that question. So what makes Opusuna bias-free is that Opusuna is an online interview or exercise that takes somebody through 10 different movie scenarios, and the individual puts themselves in that movie scenario. So that's why logically it's bias free, because you can be whoever you want in that movie. You can be the hero that saves the day. You can be the person who helps the hero save the day. You can be the person who supplies information to save the day. So you can really, there's no restraints on what you can be in each scenario. Unlike out in the real world, there's always different restraints in terms of what we can be, or even if we put them upon ourselves, how we should answer. Men and women are very different in the way we think we should answer questions in an interview and the way we're judged upon our answers in an interview. But when we let a computer do it, and when we put ourselves in a scenario and choose what we want to be, then there really is no bias in that.
So this is done during the actual interview and not online. Is that correct?
This is online.
Okay.
I call it, I say interview kind of interchangeably, but it's online. It's no different than if you were having an interview face to face, but we let the computer do an interview, and it's an interview, but it's an interview unlike anything else. It's not questions where you want to be in 1 year and 3 years and 5 years. And then you struggle to figure out what the other person wants to hear because, am I too ambitious? Am I not ambitious enough? All of that goes into answering a question like that. But when we have a computer and a program give us 10 movie scenarios, and we go through each scenario and we make selections based on our preferences, that's a different kind of interview, and it's a different kind of output.
What do you think is the biggest mistake that organizations make during the recruiting and hiring process?
Really, the biggest mistake is having somebody who's not qualified in that position, whether they're not qualified to screen the resumes, to make the selections, who should be selected for an interview, whether they're not particularly qualified to do the interview. I know a lot of senior people in organizations sometimes leave it to more junior people in the organizations because interviewing takes a lot of time, and they would prefer to have somebody maybe less expensive to their organization take the time, but then that person is really not qualified. And so that's the biggest problem. And then of course it creates a domino effect when you have somebody who's not particularly qualified screening or doing interviews.
So tell us a little bit about the services that you do offer.
So we are a full-service consulting firm at TeamQuest Advisors, and we're powered by Opusuna, the Opusuna technology. So TeamQuest Advisors, we provide executive search services, we provide hiring decision support, we provide recruiting training, we provide really any kind of people solution that somebody needs. We really look at each of our clients and individually get to know their businesses. They tell us their pain points, and then we come up with a solution, and we power that solution with Opusuna technology so that we are evaluating the individuals that are going to be part of that solution in a fair manner and getting objective information to be able to then make decisions that will solve the problems or the needs of the business. And then on the other side, we also offer just Opusuna assessments. If clients have individuals within their organizations, they might have a robust HR department with a senior HR consultant that's able to then use the Opusuna. So if that's the case, we're happy to work with that individual and get them up to speed so that they can use the Opusuna reports. And that's not difficult at all.
Great. Yeah. So you actually provide some training for the organization then.
Absolutely. We'll provide training. Absolutely.
Great.
It's not anything that's at length that someone has to train. It's very straightforward.
Mm. And you kind of answered this a while ago, but having hire outside people like yourself, a part of that, of course, is having someone who is qualified like yourself, because typically they assign many times these kinds of things to an admin. But what about, saving time and having somebody that's unbiased? Would you say that plays into this, hiring someone outside the company as well?
Hugely. It's a huge time saver, and it definitely will net you the best results because people who are outside of the company are objective. We want our clients to hire the very best people for the positions so that those people do well in the job and the company thrives and the individual thrives. There's nothing worse for an outside consultant to place somebody in an organization, and then that person that they placed and or the organization gets back to them and says, like, what have you done? This is terrible. I'm so upset. On and on. I mean, there is it hasn't really happened to me very often, but I don't want it to happen. I just think that it's just not a nice, it's not a nice feeling, because these are people's careers, people's companies, people's resources. There is a lot at stake, and so I think that any individual consultant or consulting firm knows that. And if they want their business to be successful, their clients and their candidates also have to be successful.
Great. Good answer. And what challenges have you had to face?
Where do I start? So many challenges. There's always the challenge of competing against larger firms. So that's a challenge. Presenting Opusuna in the marketplace presents a challenge because it's a new category of assessment. It's a behavioral assessment. It is not a personality assessment. So one of the biggest challenges I face is explaining that it's not a personality assessment, that it measures things to do with individuals that have nothing to do with their personality or their persona, but really has to do with their behavior working in a group and under stress. So that's one of the challenges. And of course, lately, everybody's had to deal with COVID. So that's obviously been a huge challenge for everybody. So I really obviously, recognize that that's not just my individual challenge, but it's all of our challenges right now.
Right. Yeah. And now we have this great resignation trending right now too. So that's a problem.
Well, it can be a challenge or an opportunity.
True. Exactly.
And I think employers, they can look at it as an opportunity. If someone's giving their resignation, it's an opportunity then to look at things and maybe find someone who maybe even will perform better in that position.
Yes, true. Well, I think that you have brought some good advice to organizations who are trying to get good talent and build some high-performing teams. So I appreciate your time today, Marci. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Email me at Marci, Marci, at TeamQuestAdvisors.com or at opusuna.io, or they can reach me by telephone 754-707-2155. Or LinkedIn, they can find me on LinkedIn at Marci Schnapp, SCHNAPP.
Great. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate being here, Diane. Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching Business Notes. We've been speaking with Marci Schnapp, vision mover and businesswoman specializing in talent acquisition. I'm your host, Diane Bogino, bringing you business ideas you can bank on.